Welcome to lockdown vlog number 9. A new week is starting, a new week in lockdown. As you can see, the weather is not as beautiful anymore as it was. This morning we even had some rain. It is very cloudy right now. And last night it even was frosty. So that's interesting. One of the coldest nights from the previous year we had last night. Well, anyways, today there's no coffee, there is no music, but I did make a little presentation for today. I can tell you that next Friday, coming Friday, this review from the Wilsonton will be out, so make sure that you tune in on Friday. There was a question, somebody asking me, okay, what kind of equipment that you cannot afford would you like to have? And that was an easy one for me. I already decided to make that a topic, and because the question was there already, I thought, well, why not do it today? So here we go. Years ago, I was in my dealer where I picked up most of my equipment, and they were having wonderful demonstrations every fortnight on Friday night with really expensive setups. They were really pros. They knew how to set up a system. That's where I learned a lot of my knowledge about setting up a system. And one one Friday evening, they had the Tannoy Westminster Royal on display. If I could have one of these. Apparently the Japanese are buying all these, but this is one of this is on top of my list, together with some other things that I will be showing you today. But this beast is big and heavy. It is also built in a very interesting way. They call it a compound horn, but you see the internals are very complicated. And right over here is where the horn comes out. So if you look at the picture here, you see over here this gray line. That's where the horn, the sound comes out. So from the front, of course, and then from the side over there. There is one on sale, second hand, of course, by now, £52,000. The Tannoy Westminster Royal GR. This is the one. I would love to have one of these. There's a lot of information here. If we look at what is this thing all about, well, amplifier power 50 to 35 watts, 185 watts continuously. It goes from 18 Hz to 27 kHz. It has a 99 dB sensitivity, and it plays at 8 ohms. And I believe they also tell you over there, they call it a compound horn, 530 liters in internal volume, and it weighs 138 kilos per side. So that's interesting. And a few years, I love to go at the high-end Munich show, which is not going through this year, of course, which is a big disappointment. But this setup I actually heard at the, I believe it was 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Wonderful. And interestingly enough, the picture is not very sharp, but these mono blocks are also OTL power amplifiers, just like I have. And this was amazing. Unfortunately, normally when I go to the high-end Munich, the first day I'll just shop around a little bit, and then I maybe come into a room like this and think this is great, and I'll plan for the day after to spend some more time over there, because the high-end München is so big. I actually need 3 days to see everything there is. And the next day this amplifier broke down when I got in, so I only got to hear them for a very short time, which was, well, of course, a big disappointment. Anyways, for the lists, what would you like to have but you can't pay for? This is the loudspeaker, and it of course needs some amplification, so here we go with the Ongaku amplifier. Look at that. Let me see, did it, you can zoom in a little bit. Whoa. This is a strange little amplifier, but this is unobtainable. This is the front. Let me, like this. Volume. Well, this amplifier was used when I heard, let me show you this. This is strange because the connections are not on the rear but on the side, because this has the shortest path for all the cables. And this is what the rear looks like. So there's just your power connection and 2 sets for your speaker binding post for your loudspeakers. So what are they saying? 1989 is when this came on the market. Wow, a lot of silver in this thing. A single-ended stereo amplifier, 27 watts times 2. What else do they say over here? 8 ohms. Power consumption 270 watts from the wall. And it weighs 34 kilos, as it says right over there. There is one in Germany at the moment for sale, so if you've got 48,000 euros to spare, I'll advise you to check out the Kondo Ongaku amplifier. Now there is, some of you may think, wait a minute, that is the Audionote Ongaku, and they would be correct. You see, Audionote was the one who first, well, let me give you a picture again, was the one who first brought to market this Audionote Ongaku under the name Audionote Ongaku, and this was Audionote Japan. A little later, the British company Audionote, so Audionote Britain, got licensed to bring out the same designs under their and made in their own British companies. Well, there was of course problems, and so now you have Audionote Japan, you have Audionote Britain, and the boss of Audionote Japan, Mr. Kondo, he was yeah, well, a little fed up with those things happening, and so he went out of the Audionote Japan company and opened his own company, Kondo Audio, making more or less the same designs, but now completely to his specs and standards. These things, there's kilos of silver in this this amp. But the combination between the Tannoy Westminster, as I just showed you, this one, in combination with the Ongaku, I believe it must be 25 years ago that I heard that combination. I don't remember what source they used, but that stayed in my mind ever. If I win the lottery, that is the combination that I'm going for. Well, of course, you need a source. If you have an amp and a loudspeaker, you need a source. This is what I would buy as a source. This is the Goldmund turntable. The rack is included, and as you can see, all the how you call it, this is where you steer the, you see, this is with live talking and filming, I don't remember, but this, well, this is where you play, pause, stop, needle up, needle down. That's what you do right over there. So over here you see, and up front you see there's the preamp connected. They also have it in a different color scheme like this, and interestingly enough, in the same design they also made a CD DVD player, and this is the one that I would have going next to the turntable. And you can see it also has its own table with the controls for play, pause, stop, and so on. So that so that would be my sources. Now, to finish off this this vlog for this time, maybe you recognize this little baby. This is the Sennheiser Orpheus, the first edition. This was all their research combined into the best, top of the line, cost no object headphone amplifier. It had tubes. This was an amazing beast, and interestingly enough, because this, I believe at the time, was 25,000 guilders, which was not obtainable, but at that time, and I think I was around 24 years old, I was helping a guy who owned the hi-fi shop in the neighborhood. He had this one in his store, so I got to listen to it over there, but somehow he said, you know what, he had other projects that he was busy with, take it home and listen to it. So I actually got the Sennheiser Orpheus in my home for, I believe it was 4 days, to live the happy audiophile life. And yesterday, of last year or the year before, they brought out the one that came after that Orpheus. So this is the new Orpheus, also again with tubes, and this is also an interesting design. And even the case, it's not very clear to see, but even the case for the headphones is now built into the design. So you put your headphone in the case, which is part of the equipment. And even though I had this wonderful event having the previous one in my house, I was at the high-end München, and of course they were showing them off. You got to listen to it, you had to pick a time, and I believe it was 10 minutes that you then could listen to this thing. And one of my worst experiences on the Munich high end was listening to this thing. First of all, it was not... The very first impression was it sounded a little bit boring, but I did not really... I only had 10 minutes. I waited... I got my ticket for that time lock a day before, so I was really looking forward to listening to this thing. And unfortunately, I should be there alone, but they let another person in who was a reviewer for some kind of high-end audio magazine. So of course they asked me, is it okay that he listens to it a little bit? And well, being the nice guy I am, I said, well, okay. So actually I waited a day for this. I was half an hour before I was allowed in. I was already there waiting to listen to it, and after maybe 2 minutes this reviewer took over, and I never got to listen to it and experience what it actually sounds like. And I was so pissed that even if I had been able to listen to it, I probably wouldn't like it because there was too much emotion. So that was the worst story of the high-end Munich. But anyways, to answer the question, what would you buy if you had the funds? Well, these. The Tannoy Westminster loudspeaker, the Kondo Ongaku would be there, some Goldmund sources, and maybe this one if I had a good listen to it, because it looked beautiful. I don't know if it sounds beautiful, everybody says it does. But that would be my unobtainable wish lists. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. And next time will be tomorrow.